a bit light tonight. I wonder if people have, like, after that bank holiday, you kind of forget what day of the week it is and have forgotten that it's the Pilates day. Still in the weekend mode. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to come to stand and just work into shoulders to begin with. It's really kind of really good, the band work to help with posture. So we can still do that without our bands. I might put a light on. That's a bit better, yeah. Okay. So when you're ready, just beginning with your feet hip distance apart, just relax your hands by your side and just start to roll up, round and down into those shoulders, loosening off any tension that may have built up through the day. Shoulders up, round and down. Good stuff. We'll just do a few more of those. And as you roll through those shoulders, just start to connect in with your breathing, thinking about that deep breath right down to the base of the lungs, and then a slow breath out, filling the space around you. And as you exhale, think about releasing tension. And that tension may be physical, or it may be tension held in your mind, even though the weather does help, doesn't it? It does lift our spirits, but we still carry all of this around with us. We'll do one more, up, round and down, and we're just going to drop those shoulders down, tuck them into our back pockets and connecting with our core now. So a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just gently draw just below your belly button in towards your spine. Hold that sense of tension as if you've just gently tightened your belt. And then we're going to bring the arms up, keeping that tension, maybe even switching it on a little bit more. And then slowly down. Good work. Nice simple flow with the arms, but really focusing on the posture of the neck and shoulders. So core is engaged, and as these arms float up, can you think about your shoulder blades sliding down your back pockets? And can you think about keeping your collarbones long? So what we want to avoid is the shoulders hitching up and shortening as the arms lift. Beautiful. Good stuff. We'll go for two more like this. Hi, Emma. We've just started. Good work, everybody. Okay, one more. Keep that tummy gently drawn in. We're going to bring the hands now, and we're going to bend the elbows and draw your hands down to your side. So this kind of nice open position. I've forgotten his name. What's the candle called in Beauty and the Beast?
Lumiere.
Someone shout. Oh,
yes.
Thank you, whoever shouted that out. That's what you're trying to deliver, really. So shoulders gliding down into your back pockets, palms facing forwards, elbows lifted up to shoulder height, and then we're going to close those elbows together, and then we're going to open them out again. So as the elbows open out, really think about drawing the shoulder blades down and in. So think about your shoulder blades as your arms come apart, sliding in together across your rib cage, and then sliding away from one another. So you've got two sliding doors coming across your rib cage. That's your shoulder blades. Good stuff. We've got two more. And as you open those doors, really pull your elbows apart so you can really feel your pectoral muscles getting good stretch. Good stuff. Okay, we're going to hold those elbows now at 90 degrees. We're going to take the left arm. I never know if my camera mirrors you or not, but we're going to take the left arm and we're going to lower down. Keep the elbow lifted and lift up. And then we're going to take the right arm and we're going to lower down. So as the arm lowers down, try not to let your elbow drop. Okay, so the goal is to be a beautiful candelabra and keep those elbows lifted as we rotate internally and externally. Really good for the rotator cuff muscle group, which provides stability and movement to the shoulders. Slow it down. Okay, and then we're going to do the double. So both hands lower, both hands lift. Good stuff. Now we're really working that posterior rotator cuff now, so the backs of the shoulders should be getting nice and warm. If they're not warm now, they will be, as we've got four more. And three more, keeping that gentle drawing of tummy to spine. And two more. Good work. And one more. Now we stay down, so palms facing down to the floor, lifting the elbows. If you need to shake your arms out, do so now and join back in. And then we're just going to pull the elbows backwards. So squeeze your shoulder blades together and release. Squeeze and release. Grow nice and tall. Keep your tummy drawn to your spine and keep drawing those elbows back. Really working this area of the back now. So imagine that there's a pencil between your shoulder blades along the length of your spine, and you're holding it in place and releasing. We've got 8 squeezes and releases. 7. Those arms should be burning now. 6. If not, next time you'll do it with some weights. 5. 4. Keep that tummy drawn in. 3. 2. And 1. Lovely. Relax the arms down. Oh, and roll through your shoulders. Good work. So really isolating those muscles around the shoulders and kind of holding that posture is really, really good for building up the strength. So going to focus still on posture and arms. We're going to come into our dumb waiter now, and we'll add some legs in a moment. So elbows gently pressed in at your waist, breathing in to prepare. And then as you breathe out, just gently float your hands apart. And again, just drop those shoulders down and together. And then bring those hands forwards. Lovely. Using that gentle drawing in of your lower tummy. So as the hands separate, can you pull ever so slightly more in with your lower tummy? And then maybe just ease off as the hands come back together. And what we want to avoid is, as those hands come apart, we want to avoid that loss of neutral spine. We don't want to kind of sway into the pelvis and into the ribs. We want that kind of connection of ribs, and then tuck the tailbone underneath. And we open and close. We've got 2 more. Looking wonderful, everybody, on this beautiful evening. Now we're going to take the hands apart here, and we're going to add a squat. So holding 2 trays of drinks, yeah, keep your posture nice and upright, but we're going to just bend down into the knees and then push back up to stand again. Okay, so a little squat to begin with. You know your squats. Think about your technique. So are your feet hip distance apart? Are you gently raising your arches of your feet by pressing into your little toes? Are your knees passing forwards of your toes, or are they pushing back? What we want to avoid is too much forwards load like this. We want to push those hips backwards. So on your next squat, just give that little wiggle check. So you know how we wiggle our toes, make sure that they're not pressed down. Make sure your kneecaps are pointing forwards, and make sure your spine is long. So as you come down into your squat, even though your hips are going backwards, you're not kicking your bottom out, you're keeping your tail tucked underneath, and your chest is lifted. Now once you've done all of that, let's add the arms back in now. So you've got your 2 trays of drinks. So as you come down into your squat, take those trays of drinks and stretch them to the corners of the room, or the sides of the room, or the garden if you're outside. And then as you come into your standing position, just gently press through your heels and tighten your pelvic floor to come back up again. Let's always connect in with that important pelvic floor. Make sure you release your pelvic floor completely when you get to the top. What we don't want to do is always hold tension in that pelvic floor. We've got 3 more. Maybe going a little bit deeper. 2 more. Breathing. Now, can we hold this next one? So you're going to take the squat, you're going to hold, okay? Up to you how low you go. Tummy is gently drawing in, so lift the tummy away from the floor. Shoulders down away from the ears, okay? Now we're going to add a heel raise for those of you that wish. So floating onto tiptoes and lowering, lifting and lowering. If you don't want to do the heel raise, not a problem. You just stay in that squat. Tray of drinks resting on your head as we go for 5 raises and 4. Legs should be shaking now with both options. 3 and 2. We are going to hold again. So either holding, if you've got heels are down, go a little bit deeper, or add that heel raise. Now working in here, tummy drawn to spine, make sure those shoulders haven't crept up. Can you squeeze your shoulder blades back and down to open your arms? We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Come back up to stand. And now shake those arms and those legs out. I think you'll probably need that for both. Good stuff. Okay, we will just do a little bit of back opening work Then come down onto the mat so you can stay where you are. Feet. We'll start with feet hip distance apart and then we'll mix it up a little bit. Okay, so just doing our roll downs, nice and tall to start with. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, just slowly peel down through the bones in your spine, dropping your chin to your chest as we roll down, opening up that wonderful body, taking your time, no need to rush. Every segment of your spine is going to roll down on its own until the next one feels the need to move. And then when you get to the bottom, just focus back in on breathing and then just draw your tummy into your spine to stack yourself back up again. So you're just using that gentle tummy draw just to create that kind of foundation to build up again. And then when you get to the top, we just repeat it, don't we? We go again and again with this one. So just a gentle reminder to try and keep your mind focused on your breathing and focused on your movement. So easily does our mind pull us elsewhere, takes us to other places, other time frames, when the only thing that matters is this present moment where you're moving and you're breathing really well. And as our bodies open up, we just maybe start to think about going a little bit further. Can you stretch a little bit deeper? Obviously, again, just working with what is good for you, because if ever we force this movement, our bodies are just going to tense up and it's really counterproductive. So slow flow breath, moving well. We'll use this as our last one. So when you get to the bottom of your forwards fold, just hang there a little bit. Great work. Okay, and then slowly stack back up to stand, and we'll just try something a little bit different for the next two. Elle, I'm not sure how you're going to get on with this. You can try it, but if it doesn't work, just go to normal forwards folds. Everybody else, we're going to cross the legs over, so take your right foot in front of your left. Okay, and then we'll just repeat a couple of roll downs from here. Elle, I think you'll probably just get a little bit stuck halfway, so up to you if you want to try it or not. Okay, so one leg over the other, start off nice and tall and roll down. Now what you should feel is the back of the front leg working a little bit harder, so try and bring your weight into that front leg. Try not to travel backwards as you roll down, just to get that lovely stretch. And it does challenge your balance, so you'll feel those ankles rolling side to side. You might feel your toes gently grip the mat before you stack back up again. We'll do a couple of these before we swap over. Again, just breathing deeply. It's a good one, really. Just challenging that balance in that forwards fold just helps just that core engagement as well. And when we speak about core, we often think about the trunk, but you see how that need for stability is at every single joint, and these ankles really need it at the moment. So we've got those big muscles that move the ankles, but we have smaller muscles that are making those adjustments. And it's also the role of your ligaments as well. They give your brain quite a lot of feedback to help your ankles to know where they need to be to keep you upright. Okay, we'll stack back up from here, and when you get back up to stand, we'll try a few on the opposite side. So uncross the legs and switch over. And don't be surprised if maybe one side does feel a little bit looser than the other, but it's a good way of identifying if you've got that little bit of imbalance, that not necessarily a problem, but something just to work on, just to be mindful of. Rolling down. Ooh, and stacking back up. Try not to lose your balance like I just did. Just taking your time. Lovely, well done. Good work. Okay, we'll do one more. Amazing work. Okay, slowly coming back up to stand. Once you're done, we're going to uncross the legs. Okay, and we'll just come down onto the mats. We're going to take it into our box position. So Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. I think we'll just do a little bit of opening up. Obviously, just stopping for water if you're feeling the heat. I know it's not super hot, but I just don't think we're used to warm weather, so do keep drinking if you need to. So we're just going to take it into our cat-cow from here. So just a real simple movement, but let's do it with intention and with beautiful breath work. So as you tuck your tail underneath, you're focusing on drawing your tummy in towards your spine. Drop your chin to your chest and press through the heels of your hands, feeling the shoulders separate. And then we arch the back and we lift the tailbone and we look forwards, or maybe even up if your neck allows you to. And then again, just back to cat-cow. Just really take your time with these. Feel every segment of your spine as we move well. And we'll do one more round. Press through the hands. Be really active, really connecting into your mat as you come into your cat stretch. Lovely. Then we'll come back to centre and we'll take it into our tail swish. So if you've not done tail swish before, it's exactly what it says on the tin. You imagine that you've got a big bushy tail and you're just swishing your hips from side to side, shortening your pelvis to your ribs on one side and then shortening across to the other side. And if you want to take it a little bit further, you're going to look to your pelvis. So as you swish your hips to the right, look over your right shoulder. And then swish your hips to the left, look over your left shoulder. A really nice one. This one's for you, Al. Get that baby out. Okay, back to the center and then just push back into your heels. Drop your knees apart and really push away from your hands. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to come back into our box position. Take a little look at what we're doing. It's slightly different to what we usually do. So you've got your hands beneath your shoulders. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in to prepare. And as we breathe out, we're going to take one hand and we're going to float it out to the side. Keep your palm pointing down towards the floor and squeeze between your shoulder blades. So really use that back muscle to lift your arm. We're not going to twist. So you're going to keep your breastbone pointing down to your mat at all times. And then we lower the arm and we replace with the opposite side. Now, as we move, the back of the head stays lifted, shoulders are sliding down the rib cage, tail tucked underneath. And of course, we've got that activation, that gentle tuck of your tummy, a really nice one to draw in your tummy away from the floor. We just keep working left and right. So I really want you to think about, as the arm comes up, that idea of your shoulder blade coming from the outside of your rib cage, sliding across your rib cage to touch your spine, really. So really using those muscles that sit between the spine and the shoulder blade to help with that translation of your shoulder blade as we come from left and right. Good work. Just take those rests as you need to. Let me see how we're doing with that. That's great. Yeah, and that hand just comes to shoulder height, doesn't need to come any higher. Take a little glance at your next one. Just make sure that your hand hasn't gone forwards or backwards. It's staying in line with your shoulder. That's great. Yeah, much better. Okay, one more on each side. So we're really loading up the hand that isn't lifting. So a bit of 3-point stability. And then we're going to take it to a hold. So if we'll do the same side, if we all lift the left arm out to the side. Now draw the tummy in, press into your right hand. Make sure your shoulder is over your wrist and you're not sitting back into your heels. Otherwise, it's a bit too easy. Okay, keep that arm lifted, squeeze the back of the arm up towards the ceiling. And then we make it a little bit harder for those that wish by extending the right leg out. The toe stays down on the mat to start. Now, gently drawing in through that tummy, maybe seeing if you can hover the right foot off the floor. Doesn't need to come high. Squeeze your bottom and keep your back nice and long. We hold here. Keep holding. The leg does not have to be involved. It can just be the arm. As we hold and we breathe, float the back of the head away from the mat, shoulders down from the ears, lengthen the spine. Tummy drawn in for 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Tap down with the foot and the hands. Okay, we're going to do that again on the second side now. So we set up with the arm, the right arm floats out to the side, squeeze that shoulder, draw it in towards your spine, lift the arm, find your center position. Could you balance a tray of drinks on the back of your shoulder, or have you twisted? Once you're there, maybe you're adding the left leg in, maybe the toe is pressed to the floor, and then maybe you're floating that foot off the mat. What we want to avoid is this kind of movement. So keep your back nice and long. Tray of drinks here, tray of drinks here. We've got a lovely evening ahead of us with the 2 trays of drinks. Keep holding, tummy to spine, floating the back of the head off the mat. We hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Okay, let's take it back into our shelf stretch from here. So drop your hips to your heels, and if you can, rest your head on the mat. Otherwise, just kind of prop your hands on top of one another and just let your head rest down from here. And we walk the hands to the right and push the hips to the left, crossing the arms over just to deepen that stretch. And then we take it to the opposite side. Hands to the left, hips to the right. And then we come back to the centre and we come to lie on our back. So a little bit of abdominal work to finish. Okay, so rest position to begin with. We're just going to start with our overhead arm flow. So when we bring the hands overhead, the key thing that we're working on is controlling this rib cage here. So can you think about the ribs just being anchored down into the floor? Everybody now just pop your hands on your ribs, press them down, keep that connection between your ribs to your mat. Hands then come by your side, we breathe in, and then as we breathe out, we float those hands up to the ceiling. Now press those ribs down into the floor as the hands come up and over. They're going to want to float up, but we are controlling that with the strength of our core. So use that gentle tummy draw to help. Same again, breathe in to prepare, breathe out, gently press down into the mat with your rib cage as the hands come up and over. Not all the way though, you shouldn't really be able to bring your hands all the way unless you've got huge range with good control, of course. But it should feel like the top end of that movement is really restricted by your ribs. Your ribs want to lift up, but you're counteracting by drawing down. Feel your tummy working as you do that. Good stuff. We've got about 3 more. Lift and lower with the arms. Let me see how we're getting on. They look good. Well done. It's a perfect camera angle, Liz. I can see exactly your ribs, which is perfect. Well done. Good control. Lovely, Elle. Yeah, nice work. Everybody doing a really good job. Claire, Pat, Emma, I can see movement. It's all good. Well done. Okay, next one we're just going to hold. So bringing your hands above your head and focus really in on that rib cage for me now. So can you stop your ribs from flaring up to the ceiling? Just do a quick check on your shoulder blades as well. Have they crept up to your ears? If they have, just anchor those shoulders down into the mat. Now, we're going to focus on the lower tummy as we hold the arms where they are. So we take it into scissors. So scissors level 1, tabletop with one leg, knee stacked over the hip. And then we lower down. And then we tabletop with the second leg. Okay, in and out of tabletop, just holding those hands above your head. Remember your tabletops, knees stacked over the hip with the heels lifted. Let's have that beautiful photo finish. So there's a 90-degree angle at your knee, 90-degree angle at your hip. Okay, now for those that want a little bit more, we go quicker. So as one leg lifts, the other leg lowers. But you need to really work that core now. So when you get that little switching motion, what we want to avoid is the ribs popping up and the back arching. So keep gently pressing into your mat, not flattening completely, but more so pressing down, and that strong connection in with your core. And if that feels uncomfortable in your lower back or you can't control your spine, then you just slow it down again, one leg at a time. Let me see how you're doing. Good work. And we're breathing as we move, of course. Looks good, Pat. Nice. Good switch in there. Lovely, Claire. Well done. That's great, Liz. Yeah, good option. Maybe bringing the hands a little higher over your head if you can. Good workout. Yeah, perfect. That's it. Lovely, Emma. The only thing you might want to just drop those heels a little bit so that they're in line with your knees. Okay, we're keeping going with those scissors. Hands above the head. You should be feeling those tummies now as we walk for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right leg in tabletop. Hands above the head. Keep that tummy drawn into your spine and then slowly stretch the right leg away. Now we hold it here for option 1. Option 2, we stretch away and then we lower it. And then we float back in. And we come back to tabletop. Hands come down. Arms stay where they are. Left leg now. Tabletop with the left leg. Exhale, stretch the leg away. Hold here or try lowering. And lifting. Fold back in and lower the legs. Let's do a few more on each side. And if you need to rest the arms, please do so. Then join back in. So tabletop, stretch away. Option 1 stays here. Option 2, we lower the leg. And we lift. No clunking in the hips. If your hips are clunking, don't go quite so low. As always, it's about that control in your pelvis. So as you lower that leg, you're going to need to press down into the mat to stop your back from arching. Use your core strength, lift and lower. We'll do one more round on each side, lowering the arms if you need a quick rest in between. Nearly there now. One more each side. Maybe just lengthening, maybe lowering. Arms should be feeling really heavy now. Just check in on the position of your shoulders. Have they crept up to your ears? If so, anchor them down into the mat. One more, lovely. Okay, now you can have your arms back now and bring your knees in towards you. Maybe bring the knees apart ever so slightly, just to hug into your tummy. Good work. Okay, we'll just do a little rock from side to side. And then either roll onto your side or maybe rock forwards and backwards and bring yourself up to sit. We're just going to finish with our roll down. So we haven't got very long at all, so we're not going to do a huge amount of these. But you're going to come to sit, knees bent, feet hip distance apart, nice and tall to begin with, as if somebody is just pulling a piece of string up through the crown of your head like you're a puppet. So option 1, you're going to keep your hands behind your knees to give you a little bit of support. Option 2, hands either side. Okay, and we start off with this nice lengthened position, and then we think at the bottom to start with, so tail tucks underneath. As we do that, we draw tummy into spine, we roll back off the seat bones and roll down into this lowered position, going as low as you can, and then we use the strength in the tummy to bring the shoulders forwards and sit back up again. Okay, you can use your hands to pull you back up, so that's where this option is helpful. So you just pull through the arms to bring yourself up, but don't forget to connect in with that core. So don't use your arms completely. Yeah, let's focus on our tummy. It's good stuff. And we're just finishing with these, so we'll go for 8 more. And it's not about how deep you go, it's about using your tummy to lift and lower. So it might just be a case of rolling on and off your pelvis to start with. These are wonderful. I think you've done 2 there, so we'll go for 6. I think I'll join in with you. Maybe a little pause at the bottom before you come back up. 5. 4, really lifting at the end, so rolling forwards on your pelvis, grow tall and lower. 3. And 2. One more, we're going to hold this one if you want to. If you don't, come back up again. We roll back, we hold, tummy drawn to spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, coming up. Woo! Bring those knees in, take them wider if you need to, and roll, curl around those knees and give yourselves a well-deserved hug. So when we do that in class on Thursday, it will be easier with the bands. Everything else is just harder. But hopefully we did a good job of adjusting and adapting to that. So well done. Thank you, everybody. Come and